Hey, how are you? I want to share with you three ideas from the first Rashi in this week's Parsha. Today's learning should be a zechus for Refu Shlema for Yaakov ben Brindel Yenta. I hope you're doing amazing. Thank you if you're watching here on Torah Anytime, if you're on BJL, if you're on YouTube, wherever you might be, maybe on a podcast. I appreciate you as always. I want to remind you, if you have not yet got your book, Dovetails, on Amazon, it's available. This can hopefully, as Hashem, change your Hanukkah and give you a completely new appreciation for the Yaina in the story of Noach, and you'll see how just practical and Nogea the dove is to our lives and all the inspiration that we can glean from it. So it would mean the world if you could go ahead and get a copy on Amazon. It's available there today. All right, so the parsha begins, Vayeshev Yaakov Eretz Mugure Aviv Beretz Canaan, that Yaakov wanted to settle down. He wanted to, chill a little bit on his level, to experience some tranquility. Rashi tells us that, we just, in the end of the last week's parsha, went through psukim detailing Esav and his family. But it only gives us like the Roshi Tavis, it gives us like names. It doesn't give us any details of the ins and outs, the stories, the experiences, the ups, the downs, the storylines, the traumas, it doesn't go through that. Yet in this week's Parshas Vayeshev, we go into very, very detailed of the stories. We like zero, it's not just a overall picture, right, of the family of Yaakov. It zeroes in on the brothers, the back and forth, the relationships, the jealousy. We get so nitty gritty and so close. We're even looking at the feelings that they have for each other. Very much in contrast to the end of the previous parsha, where we just talk about the headlines. Oh, these are the names of the people. What's Pshat? What's going on? Says Rashi, because, and it's such an important idea. Rashi says, because they're not so chashuv. These people weren't important enough to discuss in length. You discuss in length that which is important, that which is chashuv. Says Rashi, these people, the story of Am Yisrael, the story of Yaakov Avinu and his children, that's a story of people that are chashuv lifnei hamakom laharich behem, and therefore, because they're chashuv, we go into great detail of them. Similarly, we find earlier on, says Rashi, right, when it lists the generations from Adam till Noach, again, it just gives us the Roshi Tevos. It gives us the headlines. It gives us the names. But that's it. We don't know the ins and outs, the details of the people and the families, the relationships. We don't know their feelings that are going on. Pliny, we just know, okay, this person bore this person. Once Noach comes, Herich, the Torah goes into great details of his story, his family, right? The same thing happens again from Noach to Avram. It just lists the Roshi Davis, the headlines. Plony has Plony. Plony gives birth to Plony. Right, and then what happens? But then once Avram comes to the story, Kashigia Eitzel Avram, Herichbo, then the Torah goes through it in great detail. Again, there's this idea that you're myrich in that which is chashuv, you're myrich in that which is important. And that's idea number one. What are you myrich in, right? The Torah, we say, Kihem chayenu v'oyrech yamenu. Torah is meant to be the length of our days because it's supposed to be the most chashuv things in our lives, right? The most chashuv thing in our life, rather. It's supposed to be the holiest, the spitz, right? It's the cool thing to do, to learn Torah, to live by the Torah, to live alpi, to be a shomer Torah mitzvahs. That's the in thing. That's the. So, are you myrichin? What are you myrichin? Do you spend all day, just doing X, Y, or Z? What you are myrichin, what you spend most of your time on, often indicates where your focus is. And so perhaps Rashi setting the tone over here, that because that which is chashuv, that which is truly important and prominent, you're myrich in those things. So let us make sure that the things in life that are meant to be important, Torah, mitzvahs, our family, davening, relationships, right? If we put those first and foremost, then we're going to be myrich and we're going to spend time on it, and hopefully we're all going to be uplifted together. That's point A. Point B I want to bring out is the very next words in this. It's a long Rashi. Rashi says, "Mashal." This is a mashal to a margolios shenafla beinachol, to a precious gem that fell between the sand. Right, and sand is very dirty, and a precious gem is, well, very precious. So what do? You don't just ignore it, but you don't see the gem. Where did it go? It fell. It's somewhere. Now it's amongst the chol. Adam imashmesh b'chol v'kayver b'kvar ad shemoitzi samargos. You know what you have to do? A person has to be mimashmesh b'chol. A person has to toil and get involved in that sand, in that dirt, and then he's going to find the margolios. And once he finds it, he could get rid of the dirt and take the margolios. And there's a powerful idea here. I was thinking that shenafel beinachol, mashal margolios shenafel beinachol, and is it not like our neshama and our guf, the neshama coming down to this world, and neshama is like that precious stone. It's like a margolios, and it comes down to a world of chulin. It comes down to a world of olam hazeh, and in that place, guess what our avodah is? Our avodah is adam imashmesh b'chol. You want to get to the margolios. You want to get to that holiness. You want to get to that aspect of godliness. You have to be mimashmesh b'chol. You can't ignore this world. You have to go out and often get a job. You have to experience this world. You have to eat and drink, right? You have to utilize the physical world. And when we do that, it actually, the whole becomes Kodesh. Within the whole, you find the margolios, you find the precious gem. I saw Rabbi Sarah, who's considered one of the great Hasidic masters. He said about himself that he went to the Magid of Mezrich. He went not to hear his discourses. He didn't go to hear his great wisdom. But you know why? Rabbi Sarah said he went to the Magid of Mezrich to see how he ties his shoes. That's right, to see how he ties his shoes, because there's an avodah in tying the shoes. It's the avodah of Adam and Mashmesh B'chol, to involve ourselves in the chulin, in the gashmias, in the world. It's called avodah b'gashmias, our avodah within this world, within Olam Hazeh. And when we do it properly with the right framework, then guess what? Within that Moitzias and Margolias, we're going to find the precious gem. We're going to find the aspect of Kedusha. We're going to find the aspect of goodness. There's an unbelievable line from Rav Tzadok in Tzidkas HaTzaddik 2:16. He says, "K'moshe shamati, I heard, ki Hashem yisbarach asa sefer v'hu ha'olam." Hashem made a book. A book. You know what the sefer is? You know what the book is? You'd think he's going to say the Torah, right? That's not what he says. The sefer is v'hu ha'olam. The world is the book. Upeirush aloisei sefer, and the commentary on that book is v'hu ha'Torah. The commentary on the book, which is the world, is the Torah. We often think that the Torah is the book, and everything else is maybe commentary. No. The world is the book; it's the sefer, and the Torah is the commentary on that. For the Torah explains how Hashem can be found binivram, in the world. There's an avodah of Adam and Mashmesh B'chol, how we utilize this world, how we experience Olam Hazeh, to uplift the mundane, to find the holiness, to find the margolias, to find that precious gem that's shining beneath the sand. We can't ignore the chol, we can't ignore the earth, we can't ignore the gashmias, the materialism. But we have to be b'mashmish in it, and through it, in the right way, it can be channeled towards Kedusha. It's such an important lesson, an important idea. Idea number 3, to close, and that is also in the same Rashi. Rashi says that Yaakov Avinu was very worried. He was very worried because Esav has all these great, like we just listed in the end of last week's parsha, such great, what are they called? The chieftains of Esav, Alufim. These were mighty people, and there's a lot of them. He saw all of these chieftains of Esav that were written above. Tamav Yamar, he wondered, and he said, who is going to be able to conquer all of them? There's so much. They're so strong. They're so powerful. What is going to be able to conquer all of them? Maksiv Lamata. What is it right below? It says in our parsha, Eila Tolos Yaakov. These are the offspring. These are the children of Yaakov. One word, Yosef. Yosef is going to be the one to accomplish that feat, to defeat all of them. Beis Yaakov Eish, or Beis Yaakov is compared to a fire. Beis Yosef Lahava, Yosef is compared to something smaller than a fire, a little flame. But Esav is compared to kash, straw. And you know what happens when fire, a little flame, a little candle touches the kash. That one spark, all you need is a spark from Yosef, and it will destroy the entire kash that belongs to Esav. I was thinking about this. All it takes is one nitzotz. Rashi says, nitzotz echad. There's one spark that comes from the bellows. And that one spark that comes from the bellows, which is Yosef, that one spark has the ability to outshine all of that darkness. We read Vayeshev almost always right before Hanukkah. And it's such a chizuk for us because all you need to do to get rid of the darkness is to light a little light. Once you light a nitzot, so a little spark, it completely dispels the darkness in the room. It doesn't take a lot. It just requires a little bit. It's a chizuk, I think, for us to find a nitzot echad, to find a spark, that spark of Yosef that each of us has, that spark of tzidkus that each of us has, that spark of goodness and holiness that each of us has. Find that good thing. Make that decision. A little bit more time to learn here, a little bit time to dive in here. Find your spark, and that's going to be the way in which you can dispel darkness. It's an amazing thing. Lest you think, hey, it's just a little thing. What is the big deal? A nitzot echad, one simple spark. What is one thing going to do? I want to share with you an unbelievable personal story that happened to me, which makes sense because it's a personal story. So it happened to me. I want to share with you an unbelievable story about the importance of small things, about the importance of a spark of goodness. And here it goes. So I was in shul, and the Rabbi was walking around with his tzedakah box, right? And it was one of those the classic metal tzedakah boxes. And I saw him walking around with this pushka, and I'm thinking, I really want to give $1, something significant, something that, will help an ani, something that will help a poor person, but I couldn't find anything but a penny. So I felt a little bit reluctant. I felt a little self-conscious, a penny, what's that going to do? It's a penny, right? You can't buy anything with a penny, right? The world today wants to abolish a penny. It's not really worth much. It costs more to make a penny than it's worth to buy anything. You can't buy anything with a penny. So I was thinking about this, and this is happening in milliseconds, and the Rabbi with the pushka is getting closer and closer to me, and I reach into my pocket, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to give just something. This is what I have right now. And I put the penny in the pushka. And the Rabbi looked at me, and he said, finally, thank you. And I was like looking at him and, I'm like confused a little bit. Finally, thank you. Why is he thanking me for giving a penny? And finally, and I realized what had happened. I realized that before I put my penny in the pushka, he was walking around with a pushka box, but he wasn't able to make the classic pushka sound, the coin, right, chattering on the box. He wasn't able to make that sound because there were no coins yet. People had given $1, maybe $1 here, $1 there. So all he had was bills. He had no coins until I placed my penny in the pushka. And finally, he was thrilled. He said, finally, thank you, because now he was able to shake it around. And now he was able to alert other people. And now he was able to utilize the pushka as it was meant to be utilized and make that classic pushka coin shaking sound. And who knows, but whereas I was all in doubt, my little penny, what's it going to do? But it could very well be that everybody else who ended up giving money that day, they did it because of my penny. Because now they knew the pushka guy was coming around. They were aware of it because it was now making that pushka sound, all because of my penny. You never know what your penny can do. It takes a nitzotz echad. One spark of Yosef HaTzadik can outshine all of the darkness of the alufim, of all the chieftains of Esav. One spark. What's your spark going to be? It's a question we have to ask ourselves. What's my spark? What is that going to be? And Meretz Hashem, when we ask ourselves that question and start to live with that awareness that I have sparks to produce, I have a bellows that I can create, that this world is a big sefer, it's a book, and everything has kedusha and meaning, and I could find that Margolius, I could find that precious gem inside, when I realize that this is the most chashuv thing in my life, and so this is what I want to spend time on, this is what I want to be ma'arich on, we're going to Be'ezus Hashem live in the most with just the greatest awareness, and we're going to live with more of simcha, and we're going to live in more of a present sense, and we're going to live with more of an awareness of Elokus. And there's nothing better than that. Wishing you an amazing Shabbos and a lichtige Chanukah.